$10 on the street today.
Nice.
Like a $10 bill.
Yeah.
The fuck? I can't tell you the last time I found like a piece of change on the ground, and it was right after I gave some food to a homeless guy.
Cool.
So I'm like, thanks God.
I earned this today.
Yeah, you're welcome, universe. Like, I did look hungry. Luckily, I don't like reheated quesadillas.
Welcome once again to Noah's Snark, where two former religious types and current snarks take a look at religious media on its own terms.
I'm Hillary.
And I am Josh, aka Level 10 Apologist.
It's the worst.
You don't like it?
No, I just mean I don't like the idea of you being an apologist. Especially level 10. Mega.
Hillary, what are we doing today?
Oh, Josh, I'm glad you asked. Today we are doing Jesus Christ RPG.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a video game.
Jesus Christ RPG is a video game that you can find on Steam anytime you'd like.
For free.
It is for free. It is a whole trilogy that's for free.
It is a whole trilogy.
We only played the first one on this time.
Right.
But
Just
it could come up.
On this time. Next time. Maybe others.
Maybe others. If you don't know what Steam is, it is the easily biggest game distributor in the world.
Okay.
I'm
aware
absolutely sure of that, but I'm pretty sure of that.
My brother talked me into getting it a long time ago so I could play, what did I get it for? Oh, Limbo. Remember Limbo? And Braid? I love those games. Yeah, I love those games.
I might have Limbo too.
I got trapped in Limbo. I got stuck in Limbo. Well, that's fun.
Jokes. Puns.
Not on purpose. And also, like, the whole Humble Bundle thing I could get behind, so.
No one can see your face because we are an audio medium, of course, but the happiness on your face when you said, I got trapped in Limbo, and then you realized what you'd said was so... You're just like, oh.
I love wordplay.
Steam is a worldwide distributor of PC games. It is a free program that you can download, and then you can just buy stuff.
Yeah.
This game is really cool because not only do you not have to buy it, it's completely free.
Right.
And it comes with 3 games.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about the first of those, which is called Jesus Christ RPG.
Straightforward.
They're made by Whole Tone Games, which I do believe is just one person.
Just one dude?
I think so.
Or chick.
Or chick.
I don't know.
Or they.
One they.
One they.
Yeah.
You can be whatever they want.
One them.
But I'm reasonably certain it's one person.
That's rad.
Which makes some sense because this game is not exactly complicated.
Right. But it also makes me think, maybe I can make a game.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, starting out, let's talk about first impressions. What you expected going in? What you want to say early on?
Well, going in, like, I was looking forward to playing it. I have never played an RPG game like this. This is very much like the old school, like original, like Zelda and like Final Fantasy, those style of games, which I'm aware of, but never played any before. So there was a huge learning curve for me. But aside from that, I thought it was real cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have very similar impressions. I am used to this type of game. I've been playing this type of very old school RPG since I was young. It's one of my favorite types of games.
Yeah.
I honestly don't lean towards modern RPGs because I think they're too easy.
Because technically, I have played an RPG because the South Park games are, which I have played both of those, and I love them.
Yes, those are very good.
Yeah.
They are still too easy.
Oh, yeah, they're not good. It's not, well, I am completely stuck on one of them, but that's because I'm also not a gamer.
Right. Yeah, they're too easy for me, someone who has experience in the genre.
Right.
They may not be too easy.
South Park does not, those games do not exist to really challenge you. It is just hilarity.
Right, it's just for fun.
So much fun.
But, so that's where my thing on this came from. It's got very old school aesthetic, a very old school feel, a very old school design. So that's it.
Yeah, got a small amount of bits.
We're going to break it into its various parts, and then we'll just talk about the individual parts that we want to mention.
Okay.
So really quickly, let's talk about the graphics first.
Okay, we just said.
Yeah, it's got a very small amount of bits.
Yeah, small bits.
It is maybe 16-bit.
Sure. I don't know.
SNES was 16.
So it might be 8.
It might be 8.
Yeah.
I don't think it's 8 because 8 was usually like, it looked worse. Like it was Mario. Like
say 12. Let's split the difference.
Right, 12 bits.
12 bits.
But yeah, I think it's at best 16 bits. So it's not a ton. It is very, very retro looking.
Yeah.
It is not high concept. It is 3D, which I guess in
3D?
It's 3D, like the models are 3D.
Oh, gotcha.
Three-dimensional. It is not, they're not good models, but they are.
They're simple.
Yeah, but they're 3-dimensional, which is pretty good.
You don't need to be any better.
Yeah. And everything is desert because you're playing as Jesus in the middle of wherever.
Desert.
Yeah, wherever he's supposed to be.
Jerusalem.
I guess he's in Jerusalem.
Bethlehem. Those are the places I know.
Those are the places he goes, right?
I don't know.
I think you're right.
Our ignorance is showing.
I don't know where the game takes place. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, but you know where he lived with his parents.
Yeah, I mean, he was in the Roman Empire.
Yeah, we know the Romans are involved.
They were
later.
They were huge, so I don't know. It's hard to determine exactly.
Right. There's lots of desert. That's all you need to know.
That's really it. So most of the backgrounds are desert. The floor is desert. The road is desert.
The floor is desert. dirt and dust.
There's occasional lakes.
Oases.
There's oases that you can then look at.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty basic stuff. Now, really quickly, since this is also the shortest thing, how's the sound?
Annoying.
Yeah.
At first, I was just like, oh, this is fun. It kind of old school video game sounds.
God,
but then it just kept happening. And it never really changes.
Over.
I mean, there's a difference. Like, there's one song or whatever you want to call it when you're in a town, and then when you're outside the town, when you're looking at the more broad map, it's a different song, but it's still just very repetitive.
Yeah.
And irksome. So I turned off the sound pretty much immediately.
I also did as well. Yeah, I also did as well.
Yeah. Nailed it.
But yeah, the sound gets really irritating really quickly. There are generic like battle sounds when you do a spell.
Thwack.
Yeah, thwack and thwack.
Yeah.
And but nothing that's gonna like change your life.
Right, nothing important.
Alright, so those are the two simple parts. Now let's talk about the plot and the characters and whatever story there is in here.
Yeah.
The premise of the game is very simple. You're Jesus. You are an adult Jesus.
Yes.
You're the Jesus as we know him in the Bible. He was born, and then we see him again when he's like 30, right?
Right.
You're that 30-year-old Jesus.
Got his beard, got his hair.
Right. You are off on your first big adventure, and your goal is to get baptized, learn some miracles, fight some demons, and gain some apostles.
Yeah.
Pretty basic.
Yeah.
A woman in the first town tells you that you need to complete 7 miracles to beat the game. So, the goal is to do just that. You eventually are joined by Judas and Simon Peter, and then later, Mary Magdalene. The plot is very simple. After being baptized, Jesus is in the Garden of Gethsemane, where Satan tests him and tempts him with material things. But Jesus obviously rejects him on all fronts by quoting Scripture. So you do get an authentic Scripture reference, because I'm pretty sure both of these characters are just talking in Scripture to each other.
Yeah, sometimes the Rolling Stones.
Which one is the Rolling Stones?
The devil started out, the first time you meet the devil, he goes, pleased to meet you, hope you guessed my name. Oh, wait, that's not right.
Oh, that's funny. That's right. Funny. He does do that.
Yeah, there's a little tongue-in-cheekiness. I like it. Yeah, there's humor.
But yeah, so the most of the dialogue is straight up Bible quotes. So this is not one of those, let's just make fun of it.
No, it's not making fun of it. No, it's reverential.
Right.
But
it's reverential
also,
and referential.
Yeah, both of those things. But also, like, it really doesn't take itself seriously, and it has fun, and I like the dialogue's pretty funny.
Exactly. After Satan gives up on persuading Jesus, he is then attacked by Beelzebub. And I remember this is the first communique we had about this game.
What? Oh, right.
You were having some trouble with Beelzebub.
I was ready to throw my computer out the window. I get so frustrated so quickly with these games.
So the very first battle that you participate in, but you can win.
Yes.
Because before you get to baptism,
right,
you have to leave town and go to the oasis where John the Baptist is.
Right. On
the way, you can get attacked by demons and humans.
Yeah, if you wander off the road, like I'm guessing you did.
I did, because I didn't realize until much later
that it was a road.
That if you travel on the road, you don't get attacked. I am not used to this in these style of RPGs.
Oh, okay.
That is not that common. Usually, if you're on the road, there may be a lesser chance of an encounter, but you're still going to get attacked.
Yeah.
So I just Like, oh, I'm out of the town. I go up, and I'm just rolling through desert, which makes me get attacked constantly.
Right.
So, to be fair, you figured that out, and I did not.
It makes me feel better about not being able to get past the first boss for like an hour.
So I lost my first fight because I was like, oh, let me do this. Oh, I died immediately.
Yeah.
And I did that a couple of times just getting to John the Baptist because I would try to run, but it wouldn't work, and then they'd beat me up, stuff like that. But I did eventually make it. It was fine. I save scummed a little bit. Save scumming is when you act like scum by constantly saving, so that if you die, you can just continue.
Oh, is that what you're supposed to do? I did that. I did that when I remembered. When I didn't remember, I fucked myself over.
It is what you're, supposed to do is a relative term in video games.
I mean, is that something that's scoffed at?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because you're like...
Seems smart to me.
Yeah, it's both.
Okay.
It's both smart and scoffed at, because gamers are a group of people who often try to challenge themselves.
Yeah.
Like, you're not really playing the game unless you beat Resident Evil with only the knife.
Yeah, I don't...
It's like, I have guns to shoot zombies. I'm not going to use a knife, I'm going to use a gun.
Yeah, I'm not. You're not on my apocalypse team.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a whole group. And I have done it before. I've done stuff like that, little challenges for myself.
It's like when I tried, like, my best friend and I tried to beat Mario 3 without any flutes.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, so same thing.
Cool.
So yeah, I save scummed a little bit to get to the Oasis. But then after that, it's pretty basic. You had some trouble with Beelzebub.
I did. It's because I did not realize. Well, first of all, I would, like, in my own defense, I found out later, mostly from my brother, who would occasionally pop in to see how I was doing and help if necessary, because he's a gamer and he loves these things. He gets very excited when I play games. Mm-hmm. But the fact that you don't have any idea what the enemy's HP is, so you have no idea how many hits. It's like, it'll tell you, like, when you hit it, how many damage it's doing, but you don't have any idea how much damage there is, so there's no way to actually gauge. So because of that, I didn't realize that the three little bugs, the Beelzebub, it's 3 different bugs, that one's stronger than the other 2. I did not know that. So I kept attacking the main one, and then all 3 of them would be attacking me in the next go. Yeah. Whereas apparently the little guys could be killed off in one hit. You know, you were there.
I was there. And to be in your defense somewhat, I made the same mistake my first time. Mm-hmm. I figured it out the second time.
Yeah.
But in my first attempt, I did attack the main bug first, even though I knew that the little ones were weaker. Mm-hmm. I was like, kill the main one first, whittle out the others later. And then as soon as I did it, I was like, oh, why did I do that? And I died.
Yeah.
So you're not crazy wrong.
Right.
It's the thing even I did, and I know these games. I play these games. The thing about health, it depends on the game. But most old school games like this one do not have health bars on the enemies either.
That's so weird.
So it's pretty standard for what type of game it is. Okay. It is not normal these days.
Right. Because
if we're being honest, games have gotten easier over the years.
I don't think that makes it easier. I think it makes it where you can actually strategize.
Yeah, that's easier. If you can strategize
no, it's just like, it makes it more complicated with your mind. Like, you're using your mind then. Otherwise, you're just like, I'll hit it until it doesn't let me hit it anymore.
So you're right. It makes it more of a strategy.
Right.
But also it gives you more information, which does make it easier, even if you're using good information to make good choices.
I just think it makes it a better game.
And that is very probably true.
Yeah.
But it is a tradition that you don't know how much damage you're doing. So like in the old Dragon Warrior or Dragon Quest, the very first one of the first RPGs I ever played. Mm-hmm.
That's your favorite, right?
It's one of my favorites. It's a great series. You leave town, you leave the castle town, and you go outside and you see a blue slime. And blue slimes have like 5 health. Almost nothing. And you hit them, you do 2 damage.
It's a thing you kill.
Yeah. And then you hit him again, you do 2 more damage. And you're like, okay, he has more than 4 health. And you hit him again, you do 2 more damage. You're like, okay, he has 6 health because he's dead now. And they have most of these
would like write these things down.
Yeah, most of these old school books, like the booklets and games, came with just notes pages. You could keep notes like this. So then the next time you fought a blue slime, if you level up, now you're doing 3 damage.
I tried to do that, but they went so fast. It'd be like whenever I put this is going to come up later, but Judas's Kiss.
Yeah.
Whenever I use that, it does it 5 times, and it's just 123, 245, 230, 230. Like, I can't count.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, I'm only ever finding these things once. So there's no real learning necessary.
Right. So it is in the tradition that you don't know how much health your enemies have, but it is not exactly fun to not know.
Gotcha.
So it's a thing.
Okay.
But yeah, so we both beat Beelzebub eventually.
Yes.
You did it after how many tries?
I don't know, and I don't want to talk about it.
After performing miracles and gaining some apostles, Jesus eventually is joined by Simon Peter and Judas. Then they go and exorcise the demon Legion from Mary Magdalene.
Yeah.
Which is a creature made up of body parts.
Yeah.
A mouth, a nose, horn, 2 eyes, and 2 ears.
It looked like a cool, like, amalgamation of all real monsters.
Yes, it was 100% all real monsters.
Yeah.
I thought of Ichthys immediately when I saw
I thought of Blina.
Ears.
The mouth. The mouth is a Blina.
The mouth is absolutely a Blina.
Yeah.
And then Crumb is just eyeballs.
Yeah, eyeballs.
But yeah, Ichthys with the ears.
Yeah.
I saw those ears and I was like, that's Ichthys. They were like blue.
I don't know what. I know what you're talking about.
But Ichthys was red, but still.
No, it was super cute.
It looks exactly like an all real monster creature.
Yeah, weird demon thing. This one was weird because there's mouth, nose, 2 eyes, 2 ears, and a horn. So there's 7 like bad guys essentially that you kill one at a time.
Yes. You and I had the same strategy.
Yeah. What was it?
We attacked the mouth because it's at the bottom.
Right, because we thought maybe they would topple the mouth. It was worth trying. Yeah.
I knew it wouldn't work, but it was worth a shot.
Yeah.
It did not work. So then I just chose at random. I chose the horn next. And eliminated, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. I realized that, I thought I had to, choose different parts for each person. If I thought that, this guy was going to kill this one, then I chose another, if I chose the nose first, I'll choose the ear from one of the other characters to fight.
Yes, that's what I did.
But you don't need to do that, apparently, because if the first one gets killed, if you put all of them on the nose, for instance, and the first guy kills the nose,
it'll just move on.
It just moves on to the next thing.
Okay.
So that was, a waste of time, I found out
so
later.
So that is a fun thing about these old school games that depends on the game.
Yeah.
There's a game called Golden Sun, which is, for some reason, that's the one that stands out to me. If you put an attack on an enemy that another friend of yours killed, that attack is gone. You attack nothing because its target isn't there anymore.
No.
So you did have to strategize on how much health they had, because if you waste an attack, you just lose it.
Right, which is what I was scared of doing with this game. It turns and then when I accidentally did that once, I saw that it just moves on.
Right. And so you're like, okay, that's fine.
Easy.
I'll just keep
attack.
What do you know about the mythology of the game so far? What does Legion mean to you?
It's a TV show that my brother likes a lot.
True.
I've heard it's really good. I'm going to watch it eventually.
I have seen a couple of them. It is a very intense show that requires a lot of attention, so I wouldn't say I've really seen it.
I know it's a demon.
Yes. So there's a story in the Bible. It's for the audience.
We are Legion.
Right. There's a story in the Bible where Jesus is told that somebody is possessed by some demons. He then goes to the person who's possessed, and the demon says to him, Jesus asks its name in the name of the Lord. He's the Lord. What is your name? It says, I am Legion, for we are many. And then he exorcises those demons from the man into a bunch of pigs who then jump off of a cliff. And they kill themselves. And it is a phrase most people have probably heard, at least in this country.
Right.
We are Legion, or I am Legion, for we are many.
It makes you think we are Legion. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Or at least a reference to Legion being a multitude of things because of the Bible. It's literally where it comes from. And it's one of the cooler stories.
Yeah.
I play
pigs. A
lot of the monsters and stuff in this game are based on that sort of thing. I play a series of games called Shin Megami Tensei, which we might cover on this show at some point, where you essentially collect...
Shinto?
Some of it's Shinto. It is a series where you collect mythological figures.
Ooh, you told me about that.
Yes,
yeah.
Gods and demons and monsters and folklore creatures. You collect them, you use them as weapons and allies, and they often include a very strong section of it that is Christian mythology.
Cool.
So Legion is one of them. Beelzebub is one of the higher level things. They are very hard. They are very long, but they are fun. They are good. They have very strong religious themes, so they are really good for our show.
Yay!
So Legion in that is really fun because he is usually a red/pinkish collection of heads, just heads, and he looks
fleshy heads.
Yeah, and merged together into a bubble.
Cool. Like a chewed gum, like chewed bubble gum.
Yeah, but they have heads and they look like they're in incredible pain.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really cool because a lot of these characters in this game show up in that game, although at different levels of whatever there are.
Right. Pixels.
Beelzebub.
More pixels.
Yeah, more pixels. Beelzebub, since we're talking about the demonology of this game so far, is many people consider him just the same as Satan or Lucifer, but many others do not. I don't know how familiar you are with the field of demonology.
Not that familiar. I know some names here and there, but that's it.
But it was a great interest of mine in years past. And so Beelzebub, there is a book called The Lesser Key of Solomon. And it's essentially where people talked about these demons that they supposedly had summoned, or
just people who needed attention.
Honestly.
Yeah.
But they are supposedly rulers and chiefs and kings of hell. Mm-hmm. And you can learn from them if you summon them in a special circle, or you can then gain their information and knowledge, but you have to be really careful. And they all have different names: Beelzebub, Amy, Paimon from Hereditary is an example of
Hereditary?
One of those.
Oh, the movie. Yeah.
Paimon is an example of one of them.
Right.
And they all have different abilities. And
I've heard all those names.
Yes.
But I don't know anything about them.
Right. They all have different abilities and different forms and different concepts behind them.
Is Lilith in that group?
Lilith is not often in that group. She is not considered one of the rulers of hell, although the mythological figure of Lilith would absolutely fit in a sort of Christian or Jewish mythology sort of way. And she's not in this game, which is somewhat disappointing. It would be a good choice.
I thought she was.
Lilith?
No, she not. I might be smooshing some things in my head.
Smushy.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's all. It's a series of almost fun facts.
Yeah.
From the Bible about creatures and entities and things. But you save Mary Magdalene from Legion. Mm-hmm. And then
she joins your troop.
You then go back across the water that you came from to get to where Mary Magdalene was.
Oh yeah, the water. That's one of the best parts of the whole game.
Uh-huh.
When you get on the boat with what's his face and other face.
Judas and Simon Peter.
Thank you. And it just cuts to just seeing the boat crossing the river or the ocean or the lake or whatever it is. And then there's nothing. And then you see Jesus just walking across behind it.
It's so funny.
So fucking funny and unexpected.
Yeah, the first time I saw it, I did not know it was coming. And I was just like, ah! And then you get Mary Magdalene.
Like, go ahead, guys. I'll catch up.
Right. And then you get Mary Magdalene and you go back across. And it does it again.
I know.
And for some reason, I didn't expect it the second time either.
I laughed even harder the second time. He's just so bloop, bloop, bloop.
It's so stupid.
It's so dumb.
It's such an easy joke and it's really funny.
I know.
But then you go back across. Jesus and Simon Peter talk about his role in the church while quoting more scripture. And Simon Peter is granted the key to heaven. And the party then has to confront Satan one more time and destroy his giant robot, the Special Amphibian Tactical Assault Indroid.
Right, which this just fucking happens to you. You don't get to choose to play this level whatsoever. What you do is you do what your task. You take your little fellas, you go around, you do the miracles on all the people that you've run across. As you gain gain levels, Jesus can do more and more miracles, and so you go back and meet up with the people that you couldn't help before. And then as soon as you've completed all of the miracles, suddenly demons just fucking
Satan just attacks.
Satan's just there, and now you're fighting the boss man.
And his giant robot. It is a giant robot.
Yeah, giant robot devil.
With a acronym name that spells Satan.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious.
Did it tell us what it stood for?
Yeah, the Special Amphibian Tactical Assault Indroid.
That's right. I knew it did, but I couldn't remember what it was. Loved it.
But it's just a giant robot out of nowhere.
It's not an amphibian. You didn't do anything water-based.
Yeah, but it is amphibian. That's important.
Well, I guess he could if he wanted to.
If he wants to take the fight on the water, it's not like Jesus can't follow him.
Jesus would be on, but he'd have to go alone. The other guys would have to
They'd be on the boat.
That's how you can single them out.
That would have been cool to have a final showdown between Jesus and the amphibian part of the amphibian android.
Yes.
Oh, that would have been good.
Next time.
Whole town, listen to us.
Listen to us. We have ideas. We'll drink beer and tell you things.
All right, so yeah, and that's the end of the game. You beat the.
Yeah, that took me a long time.
Yeah, it was a difficult fight. I had a hard time keeping everyone alive.
Yeah.
Because let's talk really quick about what all the characters do.
Okay.
Jesus can raise you from the dead.
Yeah.
and he has a ability called exercise, where he will...
That's his main thing.
Yeah, that's his main thing. He will assault the demons in you and purify you.
Yeah.
Mary is a healer.
Yeah, her, she will wash your feet.
She will wash your feet. She uses...
Is that what it's called? Bathe you or something like that?
Oh, you know what? I didn't notice what it was called, but you might be right.
It's called...
I think it is bathing or
it's
something.
bath or something like that, and that re-heals everybody in your whole team. That's very valuable. You can't let her die.
No. She uses vases as weapons. Or jars.
I never gave her a vase.
Yeah, I just happened to have bought everything.
Because I was just using her for her healing properties.
And then Simon Peter is able to use swords and armor and a helmet, so he's the proper fighter of the group.
Yeah, he doesn't have very good skills. Like, what are they called?
He has one skill that I had called Rooster, where he would give everyone TP. Yeah. And the game has HP for your health. Yeah. MP for your magic, and TP for your techniques.
Oh, sorry, it's probably miracles.
Miracles. Mary requires TP to heal. So Peter was useful in keeping
Judas requires TP to kiss.
Right. So on to Judas. Yeah. He can use armor. No, he cannot use armor.
No, he can't use armor. He has to wear rags.
He has to wear rags because he's an apostle. He has a weapon of a noose or a rope. Yeah. Where he can convince you to kill yourself.
It's amazing.
I never actually saw it. I never used that. So tell me.
It's immediate. Like, it's just like, and they died.
Like, what does he say? Does he say anything?
Oh, I don't know. It all moves so fast.
It does. It moves very quickly.
Yeah.
So his weapon is a noose, but his biggest weapon is even better. It is a kiss. Yeah. So, hearkening back to when Judas betrayed Jesus with a kiss.
You'll remember from our Jesus Christ Superstar episode.
Exactly. The target that he kisses is then attacked by Roman guards. Yeah. And it is pretty easily the strongest move in the game.
It is. It
crushes.
That and Jesus' exorcism are the only ones you really need. Yeah. Everybody else I put in charge of, like, re-healing people. Mm-hmm. And giving them eggs.
So he kisses the target, and then all the Roman guards come. It's like 5 attacks. And they just destroy. It does like 1,000 damage right away. 1,000 is a lot in this game. Yeah. So, and that's what everyone does. Yeah. Judas is really cool. He's got his stance on the status screen is like him crossing his arms, looking like a cool guy. He's like, I'm a cool guy.
He is a cool guy.
I'm so cool.
Cool guy. Ain't gonna live long.
Ain't gonna live long. I'm Judas.
I'm Judas, bitch.
But yeah, so that's the whole game.
I'm a real hero.
After you beat the Satan robot, you're good to go. The game's over. Yeah. And it just ends.
Yeah, you can't even go back and, like, level up or do anything else. I didn't get to go to that swamp. Right. There was a swamp that was going to destroy you, and it looked like there was a little demon on the other side. I'm like, I'll come back to that when I get a higher level. But I never got to do it.
I got to that swamp.
Oh, yeah. Well, tell me about it.
So, the first time I went, it was actually really embarrassing. I went over the swamp. I talked to the demon. And he was like, blah, 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 something or another. And so he needed some sort of item. Mm-hmm. For me to trade him for a noose. This is for Judas's power-up, which you don't know yet. So I went and got the item. I did some stuff. I got the item. I came back across the swamp. I did not heal once I got over because it is a poisonous swamp. You can see it because it's purple, right?
Right. And also, the whole time you're crossing it, your screen's going red.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So you're getting hit. So I get over there. I talk to the demon, and he goes, thanks. I can trade you this, but I'm a demon, so maybe I'll just take both. So he attacks you.
So I didn't miss anything.
No. So I had 10 health. No. And I immediately died. I was like, no, god damn it.
Were there any options, like anything that it could have gone a different way, or is that like the one way it would go?
That's just one way it goes.
Oh, that's so crazy.
He's a really easy demon to kill. I just didn't need the sense to heal after I came out of the poison swamp.
Right.
So I just went back and did it again and healed before I talked to him. Then I crushed him easily. Right. And got the noose. And I kept my item because he tried to betray me, so I kept both.
Ah, okay. I thought you were saying that he definitely took it no matter what. No matter what the outcome.
I don't think he took it.
Okay.
So yeah, so that was all. It's a pretty simple poison swamp. There's very few side quests. The game's not complicated.
No.
You fought Roman guards, though.
Oh, I did. That's right. Because I tried to go back to Bethlehem. Not Bethlehem. Wherever the fuck his parents live.
I think it was Bethlehem.
Is it Bethlehem?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I tried to go back there, and they wouldn't let me in. There were 2 Roman guards there, and like, you can't come in. And I'm like, I'll be back, because it gives you the option to fight them. Like, you can either leave or fight them. So I came back later after I realized that fucking Judas had that noose, and I'm like, I can kill these guys easy. And I did. I murdered them both.
Yeah. What happened?
Nothing.
Nothing changed.
Not one single thing. I did not gain any XP. Mm-hmm. I did not find bread or anything like that. Like, like anytime you kill kill demons or whatever. They're like, you got some bread and some water.
Yeah.
Nothing, and the guards were still there, and I still couldn't enter Bethlehem. So I don't know what the point of that whatsoever was.
But it was
But I didn't waste a lot of time on it.
Yeah, it was something you did that I did not.
Yeah.
I also did not level up my Judas, Simon Peter, or Mary Magdalene at all. They were all level 1.
Oh my god.
I know.
So you could still win the game
Yeah.
with that. Wow.
But my Jesus was
I got mine
strong.
up to like 8, I think.
My Jesus was 10.
My Jesus was higher because he leveled up before he even got his followers.
Right.
So I might have had him at 8 and them at like 7.
Because you remember, I told you this, I made the mistake of thinking that turning water into wine was a miracle that you would get if you leveled up enough.
Oh, right.
So I'm at like level 7 or 8, and I'm like, where's my water to wine miracle? I must have to level up for it. So I roamed around for like half an hour killing demons.
Yeah.
Until I got to level 10 and I realized, oh, nothing's going to happen.
Right.
So I just went to the place where you're supposed to turn in the water for wine and just traded the wine that I had in my inventory.
That's not what it is. You don't trade the wine. You gain the miracle. As soon as you're baptized, you have that miracle. It's the first thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you just because you pick up so many wines, I thought you just gave them one.
Oh. No, he actually turns the water into wine.
It was still, I was like, oh, what annoying. I was so annoyed because it's been so long just roaming around and they didn't get anything out of it. But I had a really strong Jesus. So that's cool. Buff Jesus.
Buff ass shit Jesus.
That's buff Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
So that's essentially the entire plot. And now we're just going to talk really quick about the gameplay.
Yeah, fun.
Fun.
I enjoyed it.
Like we said, it's very traditional RPG style.
It's funny.
Yes, that's true. Including the fact that early on in the game, if you are not prepared, you will get your ass kicked. And you have to heal early and often, in the beginning at least. Later, you're a little stronger. The demons are all the same.
Well, yeah, you go through the desert to try and pick up levels.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's either like an orange alien or a green alien or guys with rocks.
But yeah, it's green, blue, purple, yellow.
They're just different
red.
colors. Nothing's different.
Yeah, I don't even think they have different stats.
Sometimes it's one, sometimes it's 2. And then there's like the Bad Samaritan.
Yeah, I never fought a Bad Samaritan.
I thought it was a Good Samaritan at first. And I was like, why are we attacking this guy? Why is he attacking us?
You're like, oh wait, he's Bad Samaritan. Yeah, I never got to fight one of those because the 2 times I came across human enemies, I was not ready for a fight. So I just ran away, and then I never got to fight a human proper.
Yeah, I got a lot of stoners.
Yeah, they're literally called stoners because they're throwing stones.
Yeah.
Which I have to think is also a joke.
It has to be.
There are only...
Well, it would have been more of a joke if they dressed him in fucking dreads or Jamaican, the Jamaican flag.
That's true.
Tunics.
There are only 4 options in the battle, so it's very easy to understand. It's fight, miracle, refrain,
yeah.
and run.
The first time I put Jesus up against somebody, I refrained the whole time because I'm like, he's Jesus. He's not supposed to. Maybe it's a trick. Maybe I'm not supposed to fight anybody and still win. Because God, no, you have to fight.
Yeah. Jesus defends himself.
You have to exercise.
Yeah. I talked earlier the very first time I tried to play, I tried to leave town and I got killed by a bunch of demons. And I had to do that a couple of times until I realized how to get away from fights. But eventually I managed to win a fight against Beelzebub. That was the start. And I got baptized and I got my miracles. And then from there, my Jesus became an unstoppable demon-killing machine.
Yeah. And then the game was over.
Then the game was over because I got Simon Peter who sorted things and Judas who kissed things.
Yeah.
And I just crushed everyone.
Exercised.
But yeah, I mean, the game is very basic. There's not a whole lot going on there.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's funny.
It is funny.
There was a part where I was irritated because I was leveling up, but it turns out that was my fault.
What?
When I was leveling up, trying to get the water to wine. So I can't blame the maker for that. That's just me being stupid.
Remember the opening when we meet his parents? And they, do that little joke? And they're like, hey, son. I mean, Jesus.
Yes.
That was funny.
Mary calls him son.
No, Mary calls him, says, go speak to your father. I mean, Joseph.
Right.
And then he goes to Joseph and he goes, oh, hello, son. I mean, Jesus.
All right.
Because God's his dad.
Right.
Get it?
So that's what I want to talk about next. It's just the fun little elements of it that stood out to you.
Yeah.
That's one example. That's something I was going to mention too. It's just his parents are really weird. They're being really awkward to him, which is weird.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I was amused by the fact that every woman in the game who's given a name is named Mary.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
There's one in every town, I think.
Yeah.
And it was
all the women are Mary.
When she eventually introduces herself, she goes, "Oh, I'm Mary." I really expected Mary Magdalene's sister to introduce herself as Mary.
Oh, she should have.
I was a little disappointed.
Man, that is the only one. That's the only female that we come across, right?
Yeah. She doesn't have a name.
Well, she doesn't say a name at all,
right.
But yeah.
But
does she exist in the Bible and have a name?
Not that I know of.
They should have made her Mary.
Yeah. It would have been really funny.
Yeah.
Because every other town has one Mary. And this one did too, because it was Mary Magdalene.
Right.
Would have been cool if her sister was also Mary. But, Jesus' mom is Mary.
Oh, yeah, there's that one girl that you go up to and you're like, she's like, let's play a game, guess my name. And you have three options. It's Mary.
Period.
Or Mary.
Question mark.
Or Mary.
Exclamation point.
Yeah, and if you choose the exclamation point, you get some fish.
That's right. She rewards you for getting it right. Being very excited about it.
She's like, wow, you're a good guesser.
Another fun thing I noticed was that on the status screen, Judas, his arms are crossed. He's looking like a cool fella.
Yeah.
Jesus has his hands out. Yeah. And it's like he's holding his fingers up, but I swear it looks like his middle finger. So it's like Jesus is giving double birds.
He's a true badass.
He's a true
G.
Yeah, Judas thinks he's cool with his arms crossed, but Jesus is giving double birds.
Yeah, it's true. He's got a little Buddy Christness about him. He's real cute too, because they did every now and then they'll do in the interstitial parts when they're telling the story a little bit, they'll show a full size one, not his little pixelated self, but his actual little figure, and he looks kind of like a Funko Pop.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, he's adorable.
Got a big head,
big circle head, dark, just like black circle eyes, a little tiny body.
Mm-hmm. I would also point out that because there's only 4 options in the battle, it is very easy to hit refrain when you're trying to hit miracle.
Yeah, did that a bunch.
Did it so many times, and I died for it several times.
Me too.
It was so annoying.
Yep.
I mean, it happens, but I was just like, God damn it. Again. Anything you want to mention before I continue?
No. At
one point, after getting baptized, I expected to go to the town, because on the way to get baptized, you pass by a town. 2 towns. I stopped by both. There's nothing to do in either, but one of them was shut down because it's the Sabbath.
Right.
So after getting baptized, I went back to that town because I expected it to be open. And I take audio notes on my phone, as you know, while I'm playing things, so that I can refer to them later. And I remember when I got back to town, they were like, "It's closed for Sabbath." And I said specifically, "It's not the damn Sabbath anymore. It's been 40 days and 40 nights in the desert, you cheating ass." Whatever. And then I moved on.
Whatever.
But I just want to know, I was a little annoyed because I know how many days he spent in the garden.
Yeah.
And it was not 7 or a multiple of 7. So the Sabbath was not a thing. But eventually the town opened up.
He did the math.
I mean, it's just 7 times.
I don't know anything about it.
It's 40 days and 40 nights. It's not a multiple of 7.
I saw that movie. It was terrible.
Right. But the reason Lent is a thing is for the same reason.
Yeah.
Right. You get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the movie was not good.
I know.
The whole,
I love
let's have an orgasm with a flower.
No, it was a feather, wasn't it? It was a feather that he was blowing.
Was it a feather or a flower?
I think it was a
feather.
feather.
I thought it was a flower.
I think it's a feather. You can't blow a flower.
You can blow a flower.
I mean, not the way he was blowing the flower.
You might be right.
With a feather.
But yeah, it's Josh Hartnett. I like him. Lucky Number 11 is a great movie.
He's great. He was one of my biggest crushes growing up.
Shannon Sossaman is gorgeous.
Yeah. I think she's gay in real life.
Maybe. But that's fine.
My friend met her.
I've seen her in person.
Yeah.
She was on Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah.
Which filmed in Atlanta.
I miss everybody.
I mean, she didn't I'm Shannon Sossaman. No, who she is. But I know who she was, and I was like,
yeah, I have a tendency to know who the people are that nobody else does.
I was really into it. I try not to stare, but I was like, she's gorgeous.
Yeah, I believe
she's
that.
45, but she's gorgeous.
She really? I guess she would be, wouldn't she?
Yeah.
Time, what is it?
I mean, she's clearly aged, but
right.
into it.
Yeah.
All right, that's all. She was always very busy. She never seemed like she had time. I wanted to point out that the final fight with Satan was actually pretty tough.
Yeah.
I never lost. I did win on my first try. Did you win your first try?
Of course not.
No?
No.
How many did it take you?
I don't know.
You don't know, but you are embarrassed?
No, I have no memory. I do not remember.
Yeah, I did manage to do it, but again, I'm used to this sort of game. But keeping everyone alive was a huge pain, especially because Judas is the most useful character as far as damage dealing, but he doesn't have any defense.
Right.
Because he can't wear armor.
Yeah.
And he just takes so much damage. It's
I remember
an insane amount.
having to give him a lot of eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Eggs bring you back.
Eggs revive people, as does Jesus' miracle.
Right, but you can't
race.
waste a Jesus turn.
Right.
Yeah, you have to use his exorcism, otherwise you're definitely going to die.
Right. So I spent a lot of time bringing Judas back because everyone else is taking like 120 damage and they have about 180 health. Mm-hmm. So 2 hits and they're going to die. The Satan robot hits twice.
Right. You had 180 because you were they were level 1.
Right.
My guys could fucking fight. Okay. They could stand up to it.
Right, except for Judas,
but you still managed. No, Judas was. I mean, he had a lot more HP when he got up, but he still didn't have any armor. So.
Yeah. So he died in 1 hit.
No.
No? Oh wow. So my dudes died in 1 hit. Okay. 1 attack.
Yeah, you needed a level.
Judas did. Simon, Peter, and Mary died in 2 hits. Okay. But the Satan robot attacks twice, so he could easily hit the same person twice.
Gotcha.
He often did.
Yeah.
So Judas would take about 800 damage, and the dude has about 200 health, so he would die immediately. There's nothing you can do to save you from that. Jesus could take several hits, obviously. But everyone else, it was just a balancing act of keeping Judas alive enough to do kiss, especially because he always went last.
Yep.
So if Satan attacked him at all, he would never get to attack.
Right. I considered changing, because you have the option in the escape screen.
Yeah.
You have the option to change their formation.
Oh.
But I didn't.
I don't think it would do anything.
Well, moving him first could have been helpful.
Formation, I haven't tested this game, but formation typically does not change your speed stat, which determines when you move.
So what's the point of it then?
In some games, the formation matters. Like maybe the people on the end get attacked more or something like that. That's about it.
Okay, well then, I didn't do anything with it anyway.
Yeah, it's usually dependent on your speed stat, which I'm sure this game has too. So Judas was always going to go last. It's just a matter of where he was in the formation. Or if you have more characters than you do space in your party, formation usually is how you swap them in and out.
Gotcha.
It's also just a throwback to old school games. This game was made in a program called RPG Maker that almost certainly had formation as a default option. They just didn't take it out.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Because normally in most games you get like 6 characters, but you can only use 3 or 4. So you use formation to swap them.
Cool.
Yeah. There you go.
Good stories.
Nerd facts.
Learning and growing.
So while fighting Satan Robot, I at one point just had Jesus left alive. The good news for me was that it was buff Jesus, so he was very hard to kill. And I'm pretty sure he'd come back anyway.
Did you just barely kill Satan before his health ran out?
No. I mean, he brought everyone back. Jesus was buff enough that he could take a couple hits while everyone came back.
Oh, okay.
I used rays and eggs to, bring people back. And then Mary healed, and Simon used eggs, and we got everyone. Mm-hmm. But it was a pain. There was a moment where I was like, oh, crap. It's just me, Satan, me, Jesus, and him, Satan. One-on-one, mano-a-mano, baby. But I could have won it.
As it was meant to be.
As it was meant to be. Any other moments to discuss?
No, I can't think of anything. I think we covered all the things I liked.
Cool. So, then really quickly, let's just end the discussion about this game with best worst.
I enjoyed learning how to play an RPG.
Yeah, that kind of RPG.
Yeah, that specific style of RPG. I was always it was always strange to me that I never had Zelda. It's like the one mega game that I never played growing up, and we had an NES at my grandparents' house, and then my brother and I eventually had a Super Nintendo. Never played any Zelda games.
Well, this is actually something.
I know Zelda's not. You told me something about that.
Yeah, so Zelda is not always. It depends on who you are. It depends on who you talk to. It depends on how seriously they take it.
Right.
But Zelda is not often considered an RPG.
Why is that? That doesn't make
So RPG, the way I define it, is typically turn-based.
Yeah.
With numerical stats that you increase.
Okay.
And levels that you gain.
Okay.
Zelda doesn't tend to have levels.
Gotcha.
There might be 1 or 2 that does.
So for me, it was just visually, this looked like what I remember Zelda looking like, but it's not. The gameplay is not the same.
Right, and that reason is why some people do consider Zelda an RPG because you're taking the role of Link and you're playing the game.
That's true.
That's
literally all games.
Right. And so that's why I don't typically consider Zelda an RPG because then every game's an RPG.
Well, thanks for clarifying that so I don't embarrass myself in front of gamers one day.
But there are
my favorite RPG is the original Zelda.
Yeah, but there are people who fight about this. I don't understand why there's fights about it.
Maybe I'll start fights about it.
Just video games. Just calm down. But I don't consider Zelda one myself.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because it's basically if you can't...
Well, even the Final Fantasy ones, I never played those either.
Those are RPGs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've played most Final Fantasies. I've fallen off the wagon in the past couple of years because they're not that fun anymore.
That's what I heard.
They're just not good.
Yeah.
12 was a fucking terrible game.
I heard 10 was the last good one.
10 was the last good one for me.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. A lot of people like 12. I don't get those people. Those people are fucking weird to me. 12 is a terrible game.
Are you excited about the new Kingdom Hearts?
No.
No? My brother loves that game.
I like first two Kingdom Hearts. But there are like 8 Kingdom Hearts games. I've played just the first 2.
Yeah.
I am not interested in going through the whole series to figure out if they're fun.
Yeah.
I'm done with Kingdom Hearts.
If I could play 3-dimensional games, I think that would be up my alley. You know how I feel about Disney.
Kingdom Hearts is what many people consider an action RPG. Because it is not turn-based, but you still have numerical values for all your stats. You level up, you gain skills and stuff like that. It's just that the fights that happen are active. Like you're actually doing something similar to Zelda.
Right.
In that you have to respond in real time.
That's me fighting.
Yes, you're just chopping.
Right.
But you still have to... So there's some... Zelda might be...
Overlap.
Yes, there's some overlap. What was your worst?
It's not the game's fault. I am not a patient person.
Right.
It's a flaw that I am aware of. So I get frustrated really easily when I can't figure something out or when I don't know immediately how to do something. Mm-hmm. I'm also just not used to not knowing, not having a natural ability with some things like this. So I'm a baby.
You get frustrated?
I turn into a baby. Mm-hmm. I was also multitasking and watching a Braves game with my brother while I was playing this. Mm. So I maybe wasn't giving it the most attention.
Right.
Yeah. But so not the game's fault, but my frustration level early on, like for instance, I didn't know you could use the space bar. Like, I don't know anything about these gameplays. So it's like, I knew arrows. The arrows have to be what moves you around, but like, can you jump? Right. Like, I'm not pushing every single button on my keyboard. Right. Like, I figured out the enter button does it. And my brother was like, you can use the space bar instead of the enter. I'm like, oh, that's way easier. Now I can use 2 hands. Because like before I was trying to get like, whatever. I look stupid. Yeah. Just like the learning curve.
Yeah.
Being frustrating.
And we've talked about this too, but I think that spacebar use and all that other stuff is kind of a throwback, not intentional. It's kind of a problem with games on modern systems, modern computers especially, because a computer has so many buttons.
Yeah.
Theoretically, any of them can do something.
Right.
But you're not going to push them all.
No.
Whereas on an old system, on Zelda, the original Zelda, right?
Right.
You have A, you have B, you have start, select.
Right.
And a arrow pad.
Push all those buttons real quick, see what they do.
Move on. It's very easy to figure out.
Yeah, I'm not like doing weird combos on my keyboard.
Right. But yeah, on my computer, there's so many goddamn buttons, there's no way you're going to push them all to figure it out. So, unless you are familiar with the transition from old to new, in which case, because I knew spacebar did something, I knew enter and escape also did what they did.
I had to be told about escape too.
Right. But it's because I grew up with them in this way and just kind of learned that as we went.
Right.
Which is why I knew.
Right.
But yeah, you're just presented with this game that you don't know how to play and this keyboard. You're like, enter arrows.
Right. There's no instruction at the beginning.
Yeah.
0.
Yeah.
You're just like in the room.
Yeah, they don't even have anybody you can talk to figure out that sort of thing.
No help, nothing.
Yeah. So, and that is an homage probably to those old style.
Right.
But it's would be
frustrating
helpful
for modern Hillary.
Right.
Yeah.
It is a modern game, so there probably should be at least somebody you can talk to who's like, here's all the buttons.
Did you know?
Did you know?
Where's Clippy? I need Clippy to pop up.
Because not everyone who's going to play this game grew up like I did with video games.
Right.
You're older than me.
Yep.
You didn't know it. Uh-huh. So it's just a thing that they should consider. My best for this game is the joke about the boat. It's hilarious.
It is hilarious.
Jesus walking on water after a boat is fucking funny no matter who you are. It's funny.
It is funny.
Both times it was funny. I would have watched it over and over again.
Just keep going back and forth.
The worst was the music.
Yeah.
Outside of the one small moment of difference you get when you give the people the wine.
Oh, that's right.
And
the
then
little guy at the piano will play you some blues.
He'll play some blues, and the music does change. I turned the music back on just to see if it changed. It really did.
Yep.
But even then, it's only like a couple of...
It's still a repetitive...
Yeah, it's a very repetitive tune. I mean, it's fun. It's like... But you're still like, oh, boy, it's going to keep going forever.
As soon as you leave that house, then it's back to the old... Is that what it is?
No.
Okay.
What, Lavender Town tune from Pokemon?
I don't know what that is. No.
It's the whole thing.
This is where our age group makes a difference.
No, you're old enough for Pokemon. You just never played it.
No, I was too old for Pokemon.
You were not too. No one's too old for Pokemon.
I was 100% too old for Pokemon.
You were like 14.
My little brother collected Pokemon.
Yeah, but you're like 14.
I was seeing horror movies at the
14
theater.
is old enough to play Pokemon.
What year did that come out?
96.
My brother was not into it yet. I hadn't even heard of it in 96. I didn't know about it until I was in high school.
High school's old enough for Pokemon too.
No, it's not. It's too old.
Pokemon is fun.
If you grew up with it, yeah. I didn't grow up with it.
It's time to talk about next week.
Okay.
I'm going to hand you this card about what we're doing next week.
Okay.
Hillary, go ahead and read it for me.
God damn it, Josh. We're finally doing God's Not Dead. Piece of shit.
I'm so excited.
I know you are. I don't know why you are, but I know you are. We've been talking about this for so long.
I know, it's always been on the agenda. I've just been building up to it. Mm-hmm. Because God's Not Dead 3 came out.
Yeah.
And by the time...
Boy, were you excited.
By the time we get to it, it should be out and we can watch it.
Yeah.
On DVD. Or
DVD.
Blu-ray. Or Blu-ray. Toss them some extra dollars. Get some Blu-ray.
I only watch Blu-ray. I'm a snob about it.
I want to see the fours in David A.R. White's face.
No, legit though. Like, Redbox sends me coupons all the time for DVDs. I'm like, I don't want DVDs. They're like $1 off DVD. I'm like, how much off a Blu-ray? They don't give me coupons for Blu-rays, and that's all I get.
Have you ever wanted to see The Newsboys, a Duck Dynasty guy, Kevin Sorbo, and David A.R. White in the same movie?
It's like dreams. Dreams are coming true.
Do you want to learn about the struggles that Christians go through in the American academic setting?
Are you talking about the war on Christianity?
I am. According to S. Joanna Rublito, the acting is earnest in this faith-based drama, and though it may sometimes veer toward maudlin, it's the single biggest reason to see the movie. But to counter that perspective, there's Tim Brayton, who claims its ineptitude at depicting recognizable human behavior is matched only by its ineptitude at following any known rules of narrative.
It's amazing. That's a great review. Oh, God, and I have that to look forward to.
But once more, on the other side of things again, Tim Olsick says that this is a extremely entertaining film that leads to God, not in addition to its quality, but through its quality. We're going to do the entire series starting next week, but break it up between non-movie weeks.
Oh, good, okay.
So we're not going to do all 3 in a row.
So not like Left Behind.
Not like Left Behind. Going in, you should know there is some continuity between each film, but nothing that requires you to have seen or even know anything about the previous one to understand the character in the new one.
So they all stand alone?
They all stand alone, yes.
Okay.
There's just like cameos or old characters reappear.
Gotcha.
But their stories aren't particularly...
Are they like little Easter eggs?
Yeah, they're Easter eggs.
Can you imagine being in the theater and be like, oh my God!
It's like they're trying to do a Marvel universe with God's Not Dead universe.
Oh God. Do they have after credits?
I believe the second one does.
Are you serious?
I believe
was joking.
It does. I don't know when it happens. It's either right before the credits or in the middle of them.
God, yes.
We'll find out.
Okay, we will.
So get ready to get as extremely excited as I am for our next project.
Mm-hmm. Or you can sit in the hate with me.
Sit in the hate. Live in the hate. And remember, as always, if you like the show, please give us some of those 5-star reviews on whatever podcast app or service you are using. And tell your friends about us any way you can, because we need you.
Yeah.
Links to everything are in the description of this episode, and please go to the website and send us a comment or a question so we can do a mailbag.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Anything you want to say before we close out?
Nope.
So as always, thanks for listening.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.